You're going to start hearing this a lot. Is this newer cryptocurrency called Alpheium ALPH the next Kaspa? Why is that interesting? Because if you bought the coin and it pulled a Kaspa, you'd be getting like a 20x. That's incredible returns. Don't get jaded by crypto. That's incredible returns, if that happens. But the reason it's going to get a lot of buzz is the fact that it's mineable. And what people mean by this is the next Kaspa, or could be the next Kaspa, is that it could be the next big mineable coin. So if you grab a miner now, it's very profitable day to day. I mean, they are earning potentially hundreds of dollars per miner right now, right? And if the coin goes 10x, I mean, that would be over $1,000 a day in retrospect. Absolutely insane. And some people will say, well, that's ridiculous. And it's like, well, welcome to a parabolic bull run, where at some point when that switch gets flipped, things are ridiculous. Or this could pull a Kadena and be a terrible investment. Yo, I'm Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. And, well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Kaspa, $4 billion, block DAG technology, the 27th biggest cryptocurrency when ranked by coin market cap, and yet it's not on most exchanges, most major exchanges, right? Let's go ahead and put 100 exchanges here, right? And we'll rank it by the 24-hour volume. You don't see Binance, you don't see Coinbase, you don't even see Kraken. This crypto is missing from so many major exchanges. It's crazy. And it's still the 27th biggest, and it's still $4 billion market cap. Enter a huge misbranding opportunity. Why isn't this a mug of ale? But I don't know. I just see ale when I read the name, and it's a weird name. I mean, Kaspa, it's everyone's favorite friendly ghost, right? But this, I don't know, man. And I want to say like Alephium. That just sounds weird. But let's get to the point. 280 when you rank it by market cap. Only 163 million, right? So this pool's a 10x. That's 1.6 billion. That means it's still less than half the market cap of Kaspa. So it could do it again, right? And if you 10x and you 2x, I think if we do the math right, that's going to be a 20x from here. 24-hour trading volume, 2 million. We look at the exchange support, low, but decent. Right? I mean, we see a handful of exchanges on here and decentralized trading with solid volume, 200,000 ALPH USDT. And then we also have 800,000 ALPH WETH, which is wrapped Ethereum traded on top of Ethereum. Stupid concept, stupid design. If you zoom out over the last year, ALPH is up 856% compared to Kaspa, which is up 352%. So if you bought either of these coins a year ago, you'd actually be much happier if you were buying ALPH. What about emissions? Well, this is where there's a big discrepancy. To put it into perspective, right, you got Bitcoin up here, top dog, 26 million. Doge, $1.4 million. Kaspa, $1.25 million. Then you have ALPH down here at $80,000. And I love multiple data points. So we pulled this data off of What to Mine as well. And What to Mine is saying 1.14 BTC, which is like $110,000+ in the last 24 hours, which is a substantial increase. I mean, it's almost $50,000 more per day in expected mining earnings compared to what F2 pool emission calculator is pulling here. So if this coin 10x, it would be $800,000 of new coins per day. And there's something we need to talk about that changes that a bit. So basically, if this went to a market cap like Kaspa's, it would have a similar emission. So that's very important. Like, this actually literally does, from the mineable coin emission point of view, have the potential to pull a Kaspa, to be the next Kaspa, right? That's step one for when you hear this basically marketing of like, it could be the next Kaspa. And like, well, let's take a step back and look at the numbers. Can it actually really be? There's something called proof of less work. That is going to make this less lucrative to mine at scale. The idea and process is flawed. At the end of the day, it makes this a little bit more like Ethereum and a little bit less like Bitcoin or Dogecoin.
Basically, Alephium is classic proof of work until a certain hash rate. Once the hash rate threshold is reached, which is 1 exahash in our case, The cost of mining a new block continues to increase as it does on proof of work. But instead of that cost being paid by miners exclusively in computing power, it is now paid in computing power and by burning Alephium. So you basically kind of cap the energy consumption of the network at large scale, because past a certain point, even though the cost increases, a majority of that cost is now being paid by burning Alephium upfront rather than providing more computing power.
But the elephant in the room with Kaspa mining, mis amigos, is that it steps down the rewards monthly, right? So it effectively halves annually. There was twice as much Kaspa coin mined about a year ago per day, right? And it's about to step down again and again and again. So if nothing changed, right? If nothing changed other than the emissions slowing down, there would be half as much Kaspa PAL money produced in a year. If nothing changed, would you be okay with your Kaspa miners earning half as much in a year? These miners that are making 20 bucks a day after a 10 cent per kilowatt hour electricity bill, right? That's about $7.56. It would feel more like you're making $10 a day. Would you still be happy with that? Probably. When you look at this emission chart, I can assure you it will be more difficult to mine Kaspa in a year than it is now, and there will be half as many coins to mine then. The very sobering thing, Kaspa is a mad dash. We will look back and this will be the Kaspa mining era, but it will not stay that way unless this goes on to be a top 10 cryptocurrency. It needs that kind of market cap to maintain relevancy on the mining front, unless tokens take off on their chain and that brings a bunch of transaction revenue. We'll freaking see. Look at the new ALPH miner. This is why ALPH is the talk of the town. This thing is making nearly 70 grand a year. It is pulling in $192 a day. It'll cost you $9 to run at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Right, put in whatever your electric is. One of the main reasons I use 10 cents, right? If you have 8 cent costs per kilowatt hour, right, you're taking 20% off. If you have 14 cents per kilowatt hour, it's going to cost you 40% more. It's really easy to work off these numbers. And my electric rate was originally 10 cent here as well, but I'm effectively getting that down, which has been very beneficial for the VoskCoin mining farm, because beyond just making content here on the tube, I work hard to build out my own mining farm. So check out our videos on that if you want. Bottom line, right? It's a lot of money. Who doesn't want one? Well, you probably don't want to throw 30 grand at it. That's the bad part, right? But you're like, well, I'll make my money back in 6 months. Maybe, dude, maybe. Okay, these are hitting the network. The network is going to skyrocket in hash rate here. I mean, just look in the last month, right? You go back a couple months, it's not even one freaking petahash, right? Now it's bouncing around, touching 8. Before you know it, it'll be 80. It'll be 800. Maybe not 800, but it's gonna be a lot soon. You look at, well, maybe the KS5 Pro is more interesting, right? 21 terahash a second, 3,000 watts, 20 bucks a day after I count the electricity bill. By the way, we're an affiliate with ASIC Marketplace. Please use our links to support the channel. If you enjoy the content, we also have a coupon code, but if you use the code and not our link, they don't give us any credit, which totally sucks. So please, help keep the channel going in that regard. You can go look at Bitmain Direct for both of these miners. They're going to be more expensive there if you're buying just a couple, and you're also going to pay a 25% tariff. So keep that in mind. That we're here for numerous reasons, including this is a better deal. But Ice River recently slashed their miner prices for Kaspa miners, in particular their KS5L, 12 terahash a second, 3,400 watts. Not as powerful. It's like half as efficient, right? You're doing about half the mining speed at about the same, actually more electricity cost, but only $2,000. So depending on your electricity rate, these could be more interesting. Ice River also has poor build quality, so keep that in mind. Most of my Ice River miners are having problems within the first year, if not sooner. My KS3M, only one of the hash boards still works, and I mean, it's not even a year old. When you take a step back and look at these coins, right? Kaspa, open source, fast, decentralized, scalable layer 1, world's first block DAG, right? And there's a lot to talk about, so this is very quick, just synopsis on that, right? You go and look at ALPH, right? You see scalable, secure, decentralized, innovative sharding, expressive, efficient proof of less work, secure, scalable dApps, right? It's the same old story. These are platform blockchains, and you need to kind of check them out and see if you like the team, if you like what they're building, if you think they actually have novel, unique tech. So I'm not here to pitch this or that today. The bottom line is they're both trying to achieve the same thing, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, right? What's the second biggest cryptocurrency of all time? It's Ethereum. It's a platform blockchain. I'd love to see literally any mineable coin replace Ethereum. I'm not even going to go in on it, but I hold Ethereum for numerous reasons, but I'm hoping that market, we hit that next hopeful parabolic bull run. I'm going to dump the fuck out of my Ethereum. I'm excited. The takeaway, though, the upside for being a scalable platform chain is there. It's huge. So what do I think? The Ice River AL0 and KS0 Ultra Pro, whatever models, are great entries to mining. They're the most profitable mini miners you can get right now, and they've been good devices overall in our testing. Not great, but good. And I like that. They're profitable for now. A lot of it's kind of betting on the future. I'm hopeful that things will really take off in the next several months. Getting into gear right now could be really lucrative in retrospect, but if that doesn't happen, all the prices are inflated. There's a lot of people who keep buying mining rigs. They keep not understanding the tokenomics and how these things work, right? They don't understand that if nothing changed in a year, they'd be mining half as much Kaspa. They're taking out loans for this, right? You're competing against publicly traded mining farms that have huge investors and are also taking out loans for all this stuff. It's not just like a simple cash market. It's competitive, it's cutthroat. And then beyond that, you look at the bigger miners, you look at the KS5 Pro, you look at the AL1, both of those by Bitmain. Those are super, super profitable miners. They both have been the most profitable miners in the world at different periods. One currently still is reigning king. So you got a lot of capital and you want some returns. Hello to these miners. You learn when you look into a lot of these mining farms, some of them only have so much shelf space, right? It's like, we've got a ton of money and not a bunch of shelf space. Let's buy some more profitable, more risky, more expensive, less electrical consuming mining rigs. That's where these really fit the bill. Most people don't think that crypto is going away anymore, so people are less and less scared to do altcoin mining, which is making it more and more difficult and reducing that return because the perceived risk is less. So honestly, I don't really think it's any less risky. It's just perceived to be less risky. We look at a lot of mineable altcoins, and some of them are in the absolute gutters. Personally, statistically, ALPH is not going to be the next Kaspa. It's not going to pull a Kaspa or anything like that. And I think that these miner manufacturers are going to try to take as much advantage of us little miners as they possibly can. Sucks. But I hope that it does pull a Kaspa. Statistically, it's not going to pull a Kaspa. Even as it sits, it's outperforming what the average, what it's supposed to do. I will say that there is a good scenario brewing that this could just be the right project at the right time in the right spot. And if the market takes off, it could just absolutely rip because people are looking at it. They want it to go. Very good spot to be given, we look at the cycles, the timeline. We're hopefully getting close. Or will we never pump again? And of course, the worst case scenario to contrast with all of this, is it going to pull a Kadena? Is this the next Kadena, right? And that was a scenario where these miners were sold for 40, 50 grand. They were making $100 to $400 a day. And they did that for a little bit and then it crumbled. And then most people never made that money back. It was one of the biggest burning experiences in mining history. Thankfully, I didn't get that exposure, but I feel for those that did. And I've had plenty of bad miner buys in the past. So, hey, let me know. I'm Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. This is Tails, our CMO, our Chief Mining Officer. We run 10 seconds of Tails, of course, on every video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later. Have a good night, or good day, or good morning.